Hey, welcome to Guitar Knobs, the guitars, gear, noise, and nonsense podcast, hosted today by these knobs.
Tony Dudzik, Pick Guardian.
Jared Brandon, Gibson Brands.
Hey, everybody, this is me, Todd Novak. Welcome to the Guitar Knobs podcast. We are thrilled to death that you joined us to talk about some awesome guitar stuff. We love it. We're glad to be here again this week. I guess living is great. But just being here, the summertime is always dodgy to try to nail people down to get things to do. So
you got to cut the grass sometimes.
You got to cut the grass sometimes. Yeah, I guess
right.
So. Unfortunately, Rob is up to his literal eyeballs in tubes and amplifiers, and he's working very hard to try to get things back to his customers, so he wasn't able to join us tonight. We miss him terribly, and I know how much he truly misses us.
Yeah.
I couldn't even get through that with
Nice. Good straight face.
You like that? Anyways, yeah, we've got a great show because we've got a very special guest on the line. Special guest, who are you?
I am Ian of Collector Emitter.
Ian of Collector Emitter. Ian Pritchard. Just a real brief, like, where can people find you? So as they're listening along, they can kind of dig you up if they're not already familiar, which would be crazy, but go ahead and tell them.
Yeah, you can find me on YouTube. The name of the channel is Collector Emitter, and I post pedal demos there.
Yes, Collector / Emitter.
Yeah, my kind of... Not a very good Googleable name, but... Well,
it's especially if you can't spell. I kept on spelling it Emmiter, and I was like, what the heck? It's EM-double-T. So
yes,
get that right, everybody. And then also on Instagram, got a great Instagram channel.
Yeah. So on Instagram, I am just Ian Pritchard, which is probably even worse to find because nobody can spell my name. But... I'm sure that you can find the link to my page through the Guitar Knobs page.
Are you going to switch that over to Collector Emitter at some point?
I've thought about it a lot. When I first started making demos, I was like, there's no reason to do this. I'm not, anything anybody cares about.
Yeah.
And now it's too far where I would either have to have my personal Instagram with 9 years of pictures of myself and my friends turn into the Collector Emitter page or start an entirely new one.
Yeah.
So probably not, but who knows?
Okay. Well, so everybody just go look up Ian Pritchard and be done with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or just click on the link.
Yeah. So as he mentioned, does great demos of all kinds of gear, and we do mean all kinds. So we're going to talk about his backstory, and I'm very interested to hear from you about your thoughts, as we talked before, about trends that you've seen, where we are now, what you really love about things that are coming out right now, and where you think things might be going.
Yeah,
cool.
Absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a couple of announcements. Ladies and gentlemen, we have had the pleasure and honor from a little company called Positive Grid. They sent us a Spark amplifier.
Nice.
The Spark is the guitar and practice amp with Smart Jam, auto chords, 10,000 tones, and more.
Yeah, I'll say more.
And over the next several episodes, you're going to hear us talking about this a little bit. So we're going to start off with our first impression. We're going to get into lots of details as we go. And this is very important because we're going to be giving away a Spark amp.
Nice.
Yep.
Hey, who do you want me to impersonate? You said my first impressions.
Oh, man, that's terrible. I walked right into that.
Yes, you did.
So Tony and I have had the opportunity to play. Rob has as well, but he's not here, so he'll weigh in on it later, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
I think, I got to be honest, I was a little bit skeptical.
Well, me too.
And, we've heard great things, but we hear great things about great stuff all the time. It's hard to judge something until you've played it.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
Tony?
I think, so my initial impression, because I didn't have it hooked into my phone with the app and everything like that, was I said, okay, well, this is a decent practice amp, and then, it's got some controls. But what really brought the thing alive was when I downloaded the app, started messing
Super
around,
easy. Super fast,
yeah,
super easy.
it's really quite easy to use, and the things that you can do with the app just take this from a decent practice amp to something that is you can learn lessons, you can play along, it will learn songs and give you backing tracks and things.
Yep.
If you want to download a song and you want to play along with like a Led Zeppelin song or something like that,
you can do that.
You can do that. It is. I was really impressed, and even when I was just trying it out without the Bluetooth connection, I was shocked at how much air was moving out of these little teeny tiny speakers. I mean, this thing, it looks like an amp head.
It's smaller than a microwave.
But, much smaller than a microwave.
It's half the size of a microwave.
It's a quarter of the size of a microwave.
2/3.
Okay. It's a third. It's a third of the size of a microwave.
Of the size of a microwave.
They can use that in their advertising,
yes.
I think. I was,
a loaf of bread. It's a little bit bigger than a loaf of bread. For real.
Yeah.
I mean, that's nuts.
I mean, this is coming from someone who, back in the 90s had a Line 6 and a pod and things like that, which were, for their time, pretty good. But I have to say, I was really impressed with it. It's easy to use, easy to learn. And I'm an old fart, so, getting me to try something new can be difficult at best.
The connectivity for the amp that we're talking about and the app is remarkable. I mean, you turn it on, it's like it was automatic. It's like dang your automatic connection.
And I even hooked up. I wanted to play some music, and so with the Bluetooth connection, it's a great standalone speaker too.
It's a full range guitar amp. It's designed for all levels of players, and I think something that's important that you just mentioned is like you got excited about that one thing, and I think a lot of amps and other things fall down when they say we're going to make it like super hot rodded for this one particular use.
Yeah.
But because this has so many different applications and ways to use it, it's impossible not to find a way for this to really work for you.
I might go so far as to say as it is the Swiss Army amp.
It really is. I mean, you're absolutely not wrong.
Trademark Tony Dudzik.
Yeah,
Guardian.
I mean it's a 40 watt solid state combo amp.
Yeah, it's cool.
And I didn't even.
And it's under $300.
It's under $300, and maybe even free for one of you when you sign up.
That's
We're
right.
going to give you that
Sign
information.
Parking is free.
I would like to say my first impression, since you asked Tony.
What about your first impression, Todd?
You came back and you said, "Wow, I was blown away." I opened the thing, I plugged it in. I didn't want to download anything. I was like, "What is this?" Right out of the box. After about an hour, I was just like, "I can't believe I've been playing this for an hour. I don't want to stop playing this." I was really, really impressed with none of the fancy stuff.
No.
Just the little amp,
Yeah.
practicing along with it, just playing by myself. It had fantastic tone. It was great. I really did enjoy it. And then I said, all right, now I'm going to start downloading this stuff. I ran my board through it. Sounds amazing.
Yeah.
I truly was blown away. And I actually sent a message to them, and I said, I tripped them up a little bit, and I said, my email said, I'm pissed. I'll actually tell you this real quick. The subject said, kind of pissed. I basically just said, hey, I just want you to know that I'm kind of pissed. I got nothing done this weekend because this amp is amazing. And he wrote back and he said, I was actually really worried right there. So anyways, it just goes to show this is a really fantastic piece of equipment. And we want to send you to a very specific place to get on the list to get one of these for free, okay? Get the number one practice amp out there. Get one for a steal for yourself for under $300, like Tony mentioned. Or, why not and/or?
Can always use two.
Sign up for a chance to win a Spark amp at positivegrid.com/guitar knobs.
Nice.
They're going to set everything up.
That is sweet.
We're going to go for about 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And then we're going to announce it.
Well,
We're working on the dates right now.
I can't wait to talk more about this because we wanted in this time just to talk about our first impressions.
Yeah.
But I think there are some very specific things that we can get into that.
You better believe we're going to. All right. So thank you to Positive Grid for sending us that amp and checking it out, and for giving the opportunity to one of our
Lucky
illustrious listeners to win one for themselves. I also wanted to do a little shout out because we have fantastic audience out there and supporters, and one of them, and we've got great builders. Now, when those two things connect, it's magic. It's like Disney dust.
It's kismet.
Yeah. So this is from Anders Gunderson, a new supporter of ours on Patreon.
Nice.
He says, "Hi, Knobs. Just wanted to send you a little note. I thought your episode with John from Very Good Amp Co. was freaking excellent. So excellent, in fact, that I bought his next run of the EP drive without ever hearing it. Wow.
There you go.
Reckless? Perhaps. But it's just such a good pedal. Exactly what I didn't know I was missing. The overdrive side works beautifully as an always-on clean sound. Just a touch of compression and a bit of sparkle. Really breathes some life into things. And the boost side gives it that extra oomph to cut through a mix when you need it, or just to add some volume and a bit of punch. Maybe the best thing I can say about that is, before getting it, I never understood why transparent drives were such a thing. I just didn't get it. If you want a clean sound, just play clean, right? Wrong. Buy the EP drive from John." Anyway, just wanted to say thanks for having him on, because not only did he seem like a great guy who I'm happy to support, but I also would never have heard about him for his company otherwise.
Yeah.
Side note, I think the episodes you've had with pedal demo folks, Ian, have been pretty interesting as well. Would really like to hear Spiral Caster plays pedals on an episode. If you can make that happen, we'll look into it.
Yeah.
Not sure if you've seen his stuff, but one of my favorite demo guys out there. Definitely checking it out. All the best, Anders. Thank you so much for sending that. We love hearing that.
Thanks for supporting the community.
Thanks for supporting us. Thanks for supporting the community, the builders, all that stuff. I love it. Ian.
Yeah.
You have played that pedal, I'm quite sure.
I actually haven't.
Yes.
I've played a few different similar EP booster type pedals, but that is one on my list of things to eventually buy for myself.
Yeah. That's a good one.
It's crazy, crazy good. And super nice guy to boot.
Yeah.
So if you haven't checked out that episode, make sure you do. All right? All right. Listen up, everybody. We're going to find out what has been going on in our music worlds this week. Tony Baloney is going to start us off. And then we're going to check in with our friend Ian and find out what Jared's up to, too. See how many Oreos he's eaten in the last 15 minutes.
Manila Oreos.
Jared, how many licks to the center of a Tootsie Pop?
Are they from Philippines or is it vanilla?
I think they're
They're not envelopes. They're
cookies.
I'm pretty sure
They're Nillas. They're Nillas.
Nillas.
No, those are Nilla wafers. They're not Nilla Oreos.
yeah.
It's two different. Go get the package and get the name
Yeah.
right. Okay. Tony, tell us what you did this week.
This week, so, in my never-ending quest for guitars, this is another great example. I think we've talked over the last couple of weeks about, Eastwood guitars.
Yes.
And back in the 60s, Martin sent out or made a fairly unpopular and obviously they didn't sell well, but they were semi-hollow acoustic guitars. They were full hollow acoustic guitars. Eastwood, a couple of years ago, put out their version of it, which had a ton of improvements over what Martin did originally. And in particular, the neck joint and all sorts of things. And as we've said, oftentimes the stuff that Eastwood puts out is indeed an improvement for the most part over what they are replicating or trying to pay homage
crazy
to.
affordable too.
And crazy affordable. So They did what they called the Eastwood F65, which was loosely based on the Martin F65/GT75. They had a couple versions of it. It's basically a double cutaway, full hollow. And
just that's an electric.
It's an electric Martin.
Yeah.
So not an acoustic guitar with electric pickups.
Right.
I
can see why it didn't sell.
Yeah. Well, but they tried.
They did.
And they didn't make a lot of them. So those, of course, now if you can find them, they're anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000 to $8,000 to $10,000, depending on the model and condition. I saw one of these, and it was one of the Eastwood Custom at the time. They do a special kind of a crowdsourcing fund, GoFundMe kind of thing to build models. And this was one of them. And I said, I should probably do that, but I never got around to it. So I found a used one in really, really good condition at a Guitar Center in California. And it was priced incredibly well. And so I picked it up. And I'm very, very happy with it. It came in really good condition, sounds good. I did change out the tuning machines, which I often do on those models, and made some aesthetic improvements.
What color is it?
It's a orange sunburst.
Oh.
Which is very cool. And it's got single coil pickups. The original ones would have had de-arm-on pickups.
You got to bring it in.
I will. Now that I have a case for it. But anyhow, so I contacted Mike Robinson from Eastwood, and I said, hey, just how many of these were made? And he told me that he thinks they only made 36 of them.
Wow.
So not only is it a cool, inexpensive guitar that plays and sounds really good, it's very rare in my opinion.
Yeah, and you got it used.
I got it used, so I got a really good deal on it.
That's killer.
So I'm very happy with that. So that's what I've been monkeying around with this.
Where'd you buy it used?
I got it through Guitar Center used.
That's right. You mentioned that.
So
cool.
Yeah. So every once in a while, I poke around on there just to see what's floating.
Yeah.
So good
solid,
stuff.
Man. Solid.
Shout
That's
out to Eastwood.
One. Right on. Ian, how about yourself?
So this week I bought a Boss RV2.
Ooh, okay.
I believe, if I'm correct, it's the first digital reverb pedal that was ever released. And it's cool. I bought it on a whim. A friend of mine kind of bullied me into it. And it's awesome. So that was a good pedal day yesterday. The same day in the mail came the Devi Ever. I don't know how to pronounce the location in England. I think it's Cymru or something like that. But
that's Welsh. That's Welsh for Wales, actually.
Oh, okay. I'm a bad Welsh person then, because I did not know that at all. So this guy, Life is Unfair Audio, he licensed the Devi Ever name and now makes a few of her old pedals. And he's making the Shoegazer again. So I figured I'd pick that up from him. So that and the RV2 both came in yesterday at the same time. And I had a really fun time, probably annoying my neighbors with the loud, distorted reverb and feedback noise and whatnot.
That's awesome. I have the Torn's Peaker.
Yeah. I think that's
like
one
Torn
half
speaker,
of the
get it?
Shoegazer. Yeah.
Yeah. That thing.
She was very clever with her names.
Yeah, very. And I actually really love the artwork. It was the sort of the manga kind of stuff on the front. It's cool. Anyways, that sounds like a great day. Glad you had that great day, pedal day. Jared.
I'll tell you what's going on in my guitar week. It was fear. So
what?
It was fear that I had lost two of my guitars.
What?
Yes. The last time I was home before this last time, so the last time before the last time, I decided, hey, I want to take my pink Paisley and my purple 1990 or so Strat Plus to Nashville, and the Strat Plus I've loved that color purple forever, and there's sentimental value to that, and the pink paisley.
Not to mention a wonderful purple sparkle pickguard.
That too. But actually, that's on my blue sparkle.
Oh, it's not on.
You
the
should call
one?
it the Grimace.
Yeah, it could be. We can call it the Grimace. I like that name.
Okay,
there you go. Done.
So anyhow, I did bring them back, but when I was home over this, I was home for about 4 or 5 days, about 4 nights, I think. Getting a
haircut.
Right. Also, no, I didn't get a haircut.
The power of suggestion.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I got to be careful there. I came home to empty out a storage unit that I was just paying a lot of money for. The stuff I had the room at the house to whatever. So yada yada. So I got that done. But I was like, where are the pink and the purple? I didn't see them at the house. I didn't remember getting them out since I had brought those guitars to Nashville. And I was like, did I take them to Nashville? I don't remember seeing them. I think I was looking for them, but I didn't open the cases. So I started to get scared that I had lost those 2 guitars. And I'm like, what could have happened to those 2 guitars on the way down? Did I stop to get gas, leave the truck unlocked, and somebody hurry up and yank those 2 guitars out of my truck? And when I went in to use the restroom, I don't know. I mean, I was getting scared. So when I got back to Nashville today, I went in there and I found them. And I got to tell you, I had a big old,
Careful.
Feeling of relief came over me because I was like, oh, here they are. Everything's accounted for. But, for a few days, I was like, did I lose those 2 guitars?
The uncertainty.
No, the problem of having so many guitars.
I know.
Well, it's not always all that great. So,
yeah.
Well, good. I'm glad you found them.
It's terrible.
but yeah, I got them. But, and another thing, one of my good friends that is one of my throughout life friends, my friend Mark Belcher came down to Nashville, and he's down here hanging out until Saturday. So
nice.
And some crappy things that happened on the way back is that the air conditioner decided to not work anymore. So it was kind of a warm.
Truck?
It's rough in the middle of summer.
Oh, boy.
It was a warm 40 minutes. It was only 40 minutes of no AC, but it did get pretty warm by the end of the drive.
Well, that's good. You probably dropped a few pounds on the way down.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly. I doubt it. But
Picked him up as soon as he got there. All right. That's a good
How about
one.
you, Todd?
Well, I made a impulse purchase because gig season, we're in the midst of it, and we got a couple lined up, and
Nice.
I'm really happy with the tone I'm getting, and I've mentioned before, I like to have on wherever I'm at, I like to have a speaker cabinet, an extension cabinet on the other side of the stage.
Good idea.
Why? I'm not running stereo. It's not because I need to run things in stereo.
It fills
it's because
the stage sound.
It fills the stage sound, number one, but also not everybody has the luxury of standing in front of the guitar player while they're playing. So if they're over at the bass side,
Some might not call that a luxury.
well, you haven't been to my shows. So bad.
Maybe I have.
I find that I run into this at shows myself. So that was something that I said, look, I can combat this simply by putting an extension cab on the other side. And conversely, my bass player puts an extension bass on. So we've got...
That makes perfect
it's great.
sense.
So no matter where you are in front of our stage, you got full sound.
Does your drummer put another kit on the other side of the stage?
No, we should do that. Anyways, so I went over to the new site that I'm semi-obsessed with. It's not a new site. It's new to me. Drew Foppy turned me onto it. ProAudiostar.com.
ProAudiostar.com.
Crazy good prices.
Oh.
And as soon as you put it in the cart, and it's like
Half
almost
price.
instant discounts. So I got an extended extended cab. I got an extension cabinet for my Supro Black Magic. I've been looking at these for ages. The problem is that shipping usually costs a lot of money because they're, it's a cabinet with a speaker in it. It's a little bit heavy, and then tax on that and everything. So normally it's like well over $500. I got it for $379 free shipping. I'm like, get out of here.
Nice.
So, and it showed up in 2 days. Fantastic. And it was a previously open. Someone bought it, they returned it. It's brand new. It works fine. It's all verified. I'll take it. Thank you. So, Pro Audio Star, check that out, people. If you want to get something, it's and Sweetwater's great. All the places are great to buy things online, whatever. If you can't get to a shop and find it yourself, and I am going to switch out the screen, the grill cloth on that to match what I've done with the original, my actual amp. So I put the black cloth on it, and I'm going to put a new badge from the band and everything. So customize it, Anyhow, so that's what's going on this week for moi. Yeah. Now, Jared.
Yes. Let me get a little bit of that.
Oh, you're going to have to save that. We're not quite ready for that. Anyways, Tony Baloney.
Yes.
How many sizes of cables do you think someone needs?
Well, it depends.
Answer, you are correct. That's exactly what I couldn't agree with you more.
Many.
9.
9?
9 different lengths.
That's German for no.
That's correct, but not in this case. 3 inches, 4 inches, 5 inches, 6 inches, 8 inches, 10 inches, 15 inches, 18 inches, and a whopping 23 inch.
Wow.
Jared, what kind of patch cables are these?
These are tour gear design.
That's correct. And my personal favorite length is the 4-inch S shape. Now, what that allows you to do is go from a top mount jack to a side mount jack without twisting the cable all goofy.
Oh.
Yeah, or vice versa.
So it's shaped like the letter S.
It's kind of shaped like the letter S if you include the jacks. And they're flat as a
crepe
pancake. So make sure you go over to tourgeardesigns.com/discount/the guitar knobs and save 10%. Get one of each of those lengths.
Get several. Don't just stop with one.
Yeah. Get a bunch.
Get a bunch
of them.
They're very affordable.
You're
They're very
save 10%.
dependable. And you're going to save an extra 10%.
Yep. And they're good people.
Do it today.
Tour Gear Designs, thank you for sponsoring our 4 on the Floor. Jared?
Yes. Let me get a little bit of that.
That should be this. A little bit
changes it every
this.
time. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 4 on the floor. Ian Pritchard of Collector Emitter. Tell us what your 4 on the floor is. One at a time, all nice and slow like, yeah.
All right. Well, I do have to say this was excruciating for me to decide. I had a whole spreadsheet going, and it took me forever. It was really painful. So thank you for putting me through that. My first pedal for the 4 on the floor is the Death by Audio V1 Interstellar Overdriver, the 1-knob version.
Ooh, my.
That sounds very specific.
That's very
Tell us
specific.
more.
The Interstellar Overdriver is their overdrive, but there's something about, I've gotten really into the early Death by Audio stuff where it's much louder and much more unruly. And so
how do you get more unruly than anything that they do?
You think it's not possible, but it is. And this is the kind of pedal that will anger your bandmates because you're too loud, but it's so great. It's just a 1-knob overdrive, but it responds to your guitar volume so well. It's really a distortion, an overdrive, and a boost all in one. And it is like the perfect distorted rock guitar sound. So
I'm gonna have to check that out.
I
have not played that one.
I'm a big fan, and I don't know if I could live without it.
Well, that is the qualification.
Right.
All right, number 2.
Number 2 is the Red Panda Tensor.
Oh my gosh.
I think this is maybe the pedal I've fallen in love with most. It's a weird one. I don't even know. I don't think Red Panda even knows how to describe it. Like, it's not a delay. It's not a looper. It's not a pitch shifter, but it's kind of all of those. You can like independently manipulate time and speed and pitch. And it has this short looper in it, which is cool for, it can do kind of delay, single playback loop stuff, or it can do, regular layered looping. It is a lot of fun, and I spend way too much time playing with it.
That's one of those pedals I've tried about 3 times, and every time I just say, no, I gotta stop. I can't. It's not. I don't. Brain broke.
I think I get that comment or feedback or whatever the most often, because I'm constantly saying how much I love this pedal, and then people who watch my channel or follow me on Instagram or whatever will comment or message me and say, I don't get it. Like, how did you make cool sounds with it?
Yeah.
And I don't know if I could explain how to do what I do with it, but it clicked with me in such a way that now I cannot imagine life without it. I was a big fan of the DL4 and using the looper on that. And this sort of replicates some of that for me. So it just kind of worked right away.
Gotcha. Yeah. My favorite thing to do to really scramble my brains is run the Tensor into the Zoya. And both of those, I had to put it down, and I gave a slight bow, and I just walked away. I'm done. Yep. I can't operate either
put him
of these.
back in the box.
That's how to give a blues guitarist a headache. Just put those two in front of them.
Or a simpleton like me.
Yes.
All right, number 3.
Number 3 is the Alexander Pedals Sky 5000. It is a reverb and delay in their convenient Neo series format. And it is probably their most simple pedal, but it just sounds amazing. The reverb will kind of go on forever. It's sort of going for that early digital, late 80s thing, kind of like the RV2, like I mentioned earlier, or like 80s rack gear. And I'm a big shoegaze dream pop guy, and that is like the sound. Don't even have to, there's no controls to mess with and get it right. It's just reverb volume and delay time and feedback, and it just works.
That sounds like it would be pretty perfect for that. Actually, you're flipping, your whole board sounds like that.
Yeah, I mean, that was, like I said, I had my whole spreadsheet and I had different themes and how do I decide 4 pedals? And so these 4, I think, thematically tie together. I was thinking of it as a whole, pedal board to do a thing as a whole.
You were talking about your the shoegazy bits. I did want to give a quick shout to Jeff, our pal Jeff Schroeder, just released a new single, which I'm going to point you to it right now. In this, don't do the single edit, don't do the single version. Get the full thing on Spotify. It's called Haenim, Haenim. Incredible stuff. Check that out. I would love to hear. Actually, I'd love to hear what you specifically think.
Yeah, I just saved it.
He's got one
to
more.
My phone.
Perfect.
So I will listen to that.
Yeah, I just didn't want to lose sight of that. I know you got your number 4 pedal rounding home. What is that?
Yep, the final one is the Small Sound, Big Sound Team Awesome Fuzz Machine.
Ooh.
Gotta love that name.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the perfect name. I could have said a different small sound, big sound pedal that I like equally as much.
Levi Levin, you mean?
Cool. So yeah, the Team Awesome Fuzz Machine, it is, I don't even know what kind of fuzz it is, but it's cool. It's got a parallel blend that is kind of clean, but can be like kind of not clean. And there's a gated switch and it does all kinds of weird stuff. And the important part is it sounds good after reverb. So round out the shoegaze setup and, make the super distorted wall of noise like
That's
I like
cool.
to do.
That's awesome. I also heard the Massachusetts in there a little bit, the hard A. He dropped that a little bit. Yeah, a little bit. Heard it in there.
I've never been to Massachusetts.
Yeah, I could have sworn I heard it.
Maybe it's the Philly accent that nobody knows about.
Maybe it's just that one sound, and that's the Philly one. Okay, so that is a great 4 on the floor. Thank you for sharing that with us. And we need to find out more about you and how you got into this big, beautiful mess of guitarness and gear and all of the demo stuff that you're doing. Just a bit of trivia here. Let's see if you know your own trivia. How many demo videos do you have on Collector Emitter?
Oh, I have no clue.
275.
On my YouTube channel, it's got to be in the 300 or 400s.
305.
Ah, well, I was close.
That's what I counted. 305. That is a lot of awesome demo stuff for our listeners to go check out. If you want to buy a pedal, chances are you might find that demo on this page.
Nice.
Yeah, there's a high likelihood.
And it's all the good ones, all the weird ones. You got a lot of weird stuff on there, which is cool. That's what we like to, I'll hear all the neato stuff. So, Ian, how did you kind of decide that you wanted to get deep into the demo world?
Yeah, so I started my YouTube channel about 4 years ago, and maybe 6 months or a little bit more before that, I was in a band and we were growing. I don't want to say we were big, but we had a fan base and, there was potential for us. But then we got to that point that all bands get to where you either do that full time and make no money or we quit and get jobs. And so we did the second one, which was probably the right choice in the grand scheme of things, even though it would have been nice to keep doing that band. But then I was stuck with no music output, no way to kind of get out my creative energy. So after just messing around and posting bad cell phone videos on Instagram, I decided, what if I make the cell phone videos slightly better and post them on YouTube? And I started making demo videos just to give myself like a schedule of I'm going to keep doing something musical, not, lose that muscle memory. And also give myself an excuse to buy a lot of pedals. So that's what I did for a while. And it was just, my after work hobby. And then, maybe a year later, I realized that people were actually watching it. And builders started asking to send me stuff. And it kind of grew from there. And I started taking it a little bit more seriously too. So, I really just did it to have something for myself to keep the musical creativity flowing, and it ended up being a little bit more than that by accident.
That's awesome.
Wow.
That's usually how we hear things. It's nobody sets out to conquer the world that they are walking through, but everybody who tries, everybody who does tried. I should say that. That's a better way of thinking about it.
If you don't try, you don't do it.
That's correct.
Yes,
I'm
exactly.
curious. You mentioned wanting to stay connected to the music, and I had a similar situation where I left California and I was deep into bands and scene and connected with all kinds of musicians and all the stuff. And I moved to Minneapolis, and I didn't have any friends out there at all. And I was it was like unplugged, and it was like silence, I felt a little bit lost, and I was like, kind of playing in my basement. I didn't exactly know what I was missing other than, my friends. I felt disconnected from the greater community. Like I was very separated from it, not just the friends and not just playing, but all the gear and all the other people, just knowing that there's other people that are interested in talking about the same thing that I was. I'm curious to know if this was a similar thing that you felt.
Yeah. I didn't consciously think about the people aspect of it, because I was really, I felt like musically I try to write music on my own, and it just never works the same way when I'm writing music with a band. But, at that time I didn't really want to start a new band and, just start over. And so I was thinking about staying connected to playing and not losing the, that skill of being able to sit down and write a riff. But eventually I realized, probably years later, once I was actually kind of taking the demos more seriously, that I do connect with a lot of these builders and then other demo people, and even just people who are super into the gear and, kind of frequent commenters and whatnot. It's kind of the same as showing up at, some random bar gig or at show in somebody's basement and meeting a band you've never played with, and you like immediately become friends because you have something so specific in common. So now I have a bunch of cool friends who make pedals and, do other pedal related stuff. So I'm glad it accidentally kept me connected to that.
That's, I think that's why we all plug into these different outlets.
Oh, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if in your case, you moved and, moved away from probably some friends that you were playing with, or maybe enjoying music together with. And it's a way to connect. And, that's the one of the good things that the internet provides, is a way for people to connect around the world, really, and have similar likes and dislikes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's especially important now more than ever, because the world is so small that this idea that our social lives don't actually occur in person to the degree that it ever really has. It's kind of weird. And, especially over the last year, that's been amplified even that much more. So knowing that we're able to connect with other people in our guitar community is really important.
Yeah. It's amazing listening to podcasts like this where you can kind of hear somebody's story, but it's also amazing, like even just posting whatever picture of a pedal on Instagram and, what builder or just other person who's into this stuff comments, and, you really connect with people beyond just the gear and start to form, actual friendships, even though you're not there in the same room doing stuff together.
Yeah, for sure. So as far as the things that you have, I think you probably gravitate towards the more noisy stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
What was? Can you share like maybe some of the pedals that you have just either been blown away by? That we know we did your 4 on the floor, but what are a couple that have just you don't even like just sends you to the moon?
Yeah. So I feel like I kind of came from the weirder DoD Devi Ever side of pedals back pre Instagram and everything, and so that's definitely what I connect to. Like I said in the 4 on the floor, Death by Audio just always amazes me. I used to go to shows at the Death by Audio warehouse space, not knowing that they made pedals. And so now, I can kind of relive some of that with the, strangest fuzzes. My friend Alec, Mask Audio Electronics.
Yeah.
He, I think, makes some of the most interesting fuzzes. It's almost like instead of recreating, as much as I love, a tone bender or a fuzz face or the classics, there's something really cool about doing it all wrong. And like something I really like about his fuzzes is on most of them, if you turn the gain up too high, it just breaks. His one, I think it's the Titan, where if you turn the gain all the way up, it's somehow lower gain and it turns into an overdrive. And I don't know if he can explain why, but it's just like, there's like this weird, like happy accident magic, that Dwarfcraft was kind of like that. And, let's see, Malaise Forever. He is kind of a newer builder on the scene, and he has some really cool, really weird fuzzes. And Weird Noise, who I know was on the show recently. He just sent me both of his fuzzes, and they kind of the fuzz it especially kind of
it's pretty fun.
Yeah, it really piqued my interest because I feel like he is right on the line of classic and weird at the same time, where you have the toggle switch of, do you want it to be normal or do you want to mess it up and get a little bit weird and out there?
Speaking of the toggle, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I feel like we gravitate towards certain physical things with the gear. And when it comes to the pedals and stuff, what do you tend to gravitate? Like if you see a bunch of pedals in front of you, is there something that will pull you in specifically without hearing any of them?
Yeah. I think I'm in the minority on this one, but for me, it's a pedal that looks like it's bigger than it needs to be.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, the statement of saying, here's a fuzz. It's got, 2 knobs or whatever, but it's gigantic. And, probably inside the circuit board is tiny and it could have been crammed into a smaller enclosure, but it's almost like, look at this one. It's big. It's going to be loud. It's going to, there's like a hubris to it that, I usually find, they all kind of pull it off, and there's some reason that they're bigger, or maybe it's just psychosomatic and bigger is better. There's more tone floating around inside.
It's an air chamber.
Yeah.
Provides that.
Yeah.
ADD pedals does that. I love, like, it's just like this, nice big box, and maybe it needs to be like that. Maybe it doesn't. Fuzz War, Death by Audio is another one of those things. It's just a giant pair of cojones on your board. It's just like, okay, all right, I submit. It's a giant box with a giant knob, and it's going to make that. It tells you what it's going to do without ever plugging it in.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially when everybody's thinking about pedalboard real estate and fitting as much as you can, which I definitely understand. And then saying, well, this fuzz is worth taking up the space of probably 3 pedals.
Yeah.
But it's good enough, so it warrants the size.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ian, you like pedals an awful lot, but how about in terms of what's your go-to guitar and amp?
Yeah, I've gotten more into guitars recently. I was always a kind of simple guitar guy, and now I've caught the bug a little bit. So the staple couldn't live without is a good Telly.
Mm-hmm. That's a safe choice, man. You can do
nice
so
and
much.
simple.
You can do so much with a Telecaster.
Yeah. So
What's yours
always
like?
got to have a Telly. I have a made in Mexico. I think it's a Player series. It's kind of this mystery Telly I found used at a Guitar Center. And clearly it was upgraded, and the Guitar Center employees didn't know anything about it. So it was priced to be a Player series Telecaster. And in reality, I opened it up. I looked at the pickups. No markings on them, nothing. I have no clue what is going on, but it just sounds phenomenal. And it plays right. It was beat up, and it's kind of worn in a little bit for me. So that's kind of my one. It's funny. It's my cheapest guitar, and that's my one special one.
What's your color combo on that?
That is black body, black pickguard, and a maple neck.
That's a handsome guitar.
Yeah, it's a good looking guitar.
We all saw it in our brains right there. Like, yep, I know that one.
Yep.
Awesome.
How about your amps? What do you like to go into?
Amps. I used to play, and I still have this amp, but I don't play it as much. I used to play a Music Man.
Yeah.
And so I have a Music Man 65.
65, yeah.
I'm really into that. And then I got into the Trainer solid state amps.
Really?
I've got a couple of those, TS25 and a TS50B. But
so you like the solid states more so than their tube series?
Yeah. Oh, I like the. I've never owned one, but I like the tube Trainer stuff.
Yeah.
The TS series has that kind of weird Steve Albini preamp that is. It doesn't sound right, but they were trying to recreate tube with transistors, so it breaks up in a weird way.
Yep.
But that's not like your workhorse everyday amp. So after the Music Man, I was trying to find a smaller combo, and I got a Supro that I really like, the Keeley Supro.
Yeah.
And then after that, I got it's a clone of a Marshall 74X, the 18-watt Marshall combo. And so it's kind of like a weird Marshall Vox hybrid with EL84 power section, but more of a Marshall preamp design.
What model is that again?
The 1974X. I think that's what it is. The 18-watt is what I've always heard it called.
Okay. Cool.
And so this one I got by a guy in Philly he's an amp tech, but he will kind of make one-off projects and sell them at a local shop to Pinto Guitars.
Oh, yeah.
He's called Root Beer Audio. So I got this clone of that, kind of a modified clone of that 18-watt, and that's kind of been my go-to for maybe 2 years now. I'm hooked on that sound.
Awesome. It sounds, from the description, I'm very interested in learning more about that. We had DePinto on not too long ago.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, those guitars are so out there. I love them.
Yeah.
And that's one of the few cool guitar shops in Philly. So I always like stopping by there.
We got to get to Philly, man. We got a lot of people
Philly's
out
cool.
in Philly.
Yeah.
A lot of people have been on the show from Philly.
Mm-hmm.
That's excellent stuff, man. So let's talk a little bit about where things are at right now as far as where do you think, in the needle, looking at the needle of where we are in the effects world, like we tend to see, waves of, it's all reverb now. It's all tone benders now. It's all crazy digital, like everything in a box, or it's an amp in the box. Where are we right now? Where do you think?
Yeah. So I do play a lot of new stuff that's coming out. And so I think about this a lot, actually. And I think kind of coincidentally, this trend was happening. And then because of COVID, it was sort of amplified for a few reasons. But I think where we're going is sort of a divide between affordable pedals and premium pedals. And when I say affordable, I don't mean like the OEM, Moore $50 Amazon Basics pedals.
Yeah.
I mean like affordable boutique, like, $100, $150. Mm-hmm. So those are the builders who are just like, let me get a good surface mount circuit board put together. I can build a whole batch in 2 weeks and, have these ready to go. And that says nothing about the amount of time put into the design, but it's sort of the presentation of it. Mm-hmm. And then on the other end of the spectrum, I'm seeing a lot more of the premium handmade, whether it's hand crafted enclosures or hand painted enclosures or point to point pedals. Like Spruce Effects, I think, is a good example because he redid his whole lineup to have the regular production surface mount 2 pedals, the Arborist and the Gale, which are both great pedals.
Yes.
And then he did the premium series, which the parks. The National Park series. Yeah. Where each pedal is limited and it's sort of this over-engineered, overthought design. And it's this hybrid point-to-point circuit board thing. Mm-hmm. And you're like partially you're buying the experience. Mm-hmm. And people connect to that. And so you want to buy this premium thing because not only was it handmade and hand designed, but they put in the extra 100% to make it an experience.
Yeah, totally. I think that the added experience and getting what we've used on the show as the fingerprint. Right. Who it's coming from. You've seen the builds documented on Instagram. You may have even seen yours on there, and that's right. That's just an added yes factor.
Yeah, I think people always talk about how the pedal world is getting very saturated, which I don't exactly agree with, because if you look at larger industries like, I don't know, coffee mugs or T-shirts or whatever, there's bigger industries that have way more companies, and they're still thriving. But because there's sort of a quote unquote saturation in the pedal world, these builders want to not only be unique in the circuit, but be unique in what can they offer to their customers and make them feel like part of the community. Sometimes that's like part of the packaging or the build, or sometimes that's part of, just having a Facebook group or, something like that, where you're actually talking to the person directly and you feel like connected to what you're buying.
Totally agree. I actually think that, the oversaturation part, forcing us out of, sort of like everybody jumping on and going, no, I'm going to do that too. Right. And that is where the oversaturation comes from. It's not that there's that many pedals. It's that there's a homogenization factor, right?
Yeah.
Meaning that they're all kind of starting to be too similar. I think that's actually forcing us into being more creative.
Yeah, I agree. Because it's like, how many rats are there? I love rats, and I probably own like 5 different rat-based pedals.
Right.
But it's been done.
And you're going to buy 5 more if they're done right.
Yeah, it's something that people are interested in, and I'm certainly interested in. But when you're new and you want to make your first pedal, it makes you think, well, hey, maybe I shouldn't make a rat because that's been done. What's going to make mine stand out? What's going to get attention to me?
Mm-hmm. Indeed. Well, Tony?
Yes. I was just going to say you could spell it backwards and call it a tar.
Yeah, that's a terrible idea. But someone's going to do it now.
You could put the whole circuit backwards.
Yeah.
And so it's the tar, and you turn it on, and it does nothing.
Yeah, perfect.
So I have 2 more quick questions for you, Ian. Number 1, what would you like to see out there that isn't?
That's a good question.
Maybe too big of a question. I don't know.
Yeah. So I always say, and maybe it's kind of just rephrasing what I just said, but I always say I like to see new ideas. And so I like different approaches to, your standard analog dirt pedals. I think that's interesting. But I think with digital, there's always so much potential because theoretically you could do anything. And as much as I love the out there weird ambient glitch digital granular pedals we've been getting the last couple of years, if you look at like synthesizers and Eurorack modular stuff and even plugins, places where maybe they have more processing power, or at least their products are more expensive so they can use the better processing chips. They're doing way more out there stuff. And so I just love to see new ideas and not, the new idea is this sort of, micro looper. So I'm going to do my version of a micro looper. But, I think Old Blood Noise is very good about, like, they'll put out a pedal, like especially the Dweller, that I think has caught my eye more than any other pedal in the last few years, because they put it out and they're like, hey, here's a phaser, but there's a delay in between the phase stages. And it's such a simple concept. You hear it and you understand what it is, but nobody had ever done it before. And it's so unique that nobody else could do it. Nobody has done the same idea since then. So just, those kind of, I know that's a big ask to say, just come up with a once in a lifetime, extremely unique idea. But I think
everybody's
like
trying
you said,
to find
we're getting there.
I mean, a lot of people are, but that's not as easily attainable. So when they do, it's sort of like lightning in a bottle,
Yeah.
Right.
Awesome. And then what is next? What's the horizon look like for Ian?
That's a good question, because I never think about that. I just kind of take it a day at a time and, film my demos and kind of keep working through. So I've been doing 2 demos, or 2 videos, I should say, a week for the last year or so. And so I'm trying to experiment with different kind of sub-series where instead of just your typical demo where I'm walking through the settings and whatnot, I'm using things more in context with other pedals and trying different ideas. I think one thing that I sort of have the ability to do that others maybe, like the regular typical guitar player is not devoting their time to, is trying what if I did this? Trying something different and sharing. Like I did a video about a month or so ago with 2 tensors. And so what can I create with 2 tensors? And it turns out you can make a pretty cool reverb. and you can make, some weird sounds and, whatever else. But, to try that idea, anybody else would have to buy 2 tensors. And I'm in the weird position of just
having
randomly owning 2 tensors. So yeah, I think
I would need a large bottle of aspirin.
Yeah, so I think maybe I gave people a few headaches with that video, but I had fun.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I'm trying to try new ideas, demo new stuff, and kind of share and give some exposure to, the new up and coming builders. That's what I always try to do.
Yeah.
And then try ideas of, what weird things can you do with pedals that people aren't, other than the typical pedal board order of, overdrive into distortion, into delay, into reverb.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Well, it has been a delight hearing your story, and we're thankful you have shared that with us. I will continue to look forward to your releases, and it's been really solid, man.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
And thanks for doing what you're doing too.
Yeah, for sure.
It's helpful. I know if I'm looking for something in particular, there's a couple of places that I go to look to see if there's, a good demo out there. And I think, what you do is really great.
Yeah. Well, I mean, thank you. I think it's cool that this community has kind of come together where we're all kind of sharing each other's stuff and, helping out these ultimately small businesses who are making fun.
It's important to remember that
stuff.
these are small businesses. These are people who are trying to do something.
And what's even cooler is you're buying something that in a lot of cases is, hand built by that person you might be chatting with.
In almost all cases, for both of our audiences, Ian's and ours. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we're going to sidle on over to Nashville and see what Jared's got for us besides a bag full of not Nilla, vanilla, or Manila.
I stand corrected. They're golden Oreos. Hey, Mark, did you want some?
You can turn off your.
I've had them over. I've had these cookies.
Mute your video.
Sorry, guys.
I think you should leave it on. He sounds better doubled.
He's pretty good.
Well, 2's better than 1. So I brought the bag over to be like, oh no, I thought this said Nilla, and
it's golden.
I thought somebody said Nilla somewhere. That's why I wanted to get it.
Well, there is
and
a Nilla wafer,
them.
which is different.
Well, yeah, I know that. Anyway, I brought them over to read the package. Kept the package over on where I'm doing this podcast.
The empty package, I might add.
No, there's still some. And Rob, Mark's over in there. He probably wanted some, and I have him over here. So bad that he probably thought I was hiding them from him, personally guarding them.
Next time, buy 2 packs.
Yeah.
We have another pack of Oreos. I got the chocolate ones to compare to these golden Oreos. They taste the same, I'm telling you.
Well, I'll tell you what, you get a bowl of those in the morning with some milk over them for breakfast. That's breakfast of champions, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you got to take a hammer and just, pound them up. And so you have little bits. They have cereal size. So anyway, hey, how about this? How about we do a little bit of Would You Rather?
Perfect.
So you're walking down the street and you're on your way to order your custom guitar that you've been saving from your favorite builder. Once you discover that after selecting everything on the build, you can only select the neck of your choice or the pickups of your choice, but not both. You can't choose both because that's just the way it's going to be. So would you rather have the pickup selection of your choice? If you didn't choose this one, it's the opposite of your preference. Or the neck size of your choice, the default would be the opposite of what you prefer. If you like thick, it's Ibanez thin. Or if you like thin, then it's baseball bat thick.
Jeez. So, and if you want single coil, they're humbuckers.
Exactly.
Oh, man.
I would probably never go to this builder. But anyway, we're in the spirit, we're in the spirit of would you rather, So you must choose.
Side note, I would probably never go to this builder.
Right. Because of this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Clearly because of this.
Obviously. Yes.
Oh, boy. That is
what
a
would
great
you rather
one.
have, man?
And who sent that in to us?
Mr. Tiger Harmon.
Tig Harmon. Thank you for that question. That's a doozy.
It is.
All right.
Pick the better of the two crappy.
Tanya?
I would have to say that, I mean, if you're going to have a playable guitar, you got to have a neck that you can handle. I mean, I've played some of those Ibanez kind of things that are just so thin, and I can't play them, or the maybe the frets are jumbo or too high or whatever, and I just go, every time I touch the string, it goes sharp.
Super thin neck, super jumbo frets.
Yeah, I'm going to say I can live with most pickups, but I think the neck has to be something that I can play. And plus, you can always change out the pickups.
You need to make room
later.
on Tony Island today.
You can have the top bunk.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm going with the neck to my specs and live with the
What
pickups.
is that neck to your specs?
I mean, I'm pretty easy to please. I like a general C shape, pretty much standard thing. I used to like a little thinner neck, but the older that I get, I like them a little bit thicker. But I still.
Then why didn't you just go with the pickup, and then why didn't you go with the pickups then?
I don't care about pickups. I can get what I need.
It's his thing, Jared.
No, I'm just saying.
But you just said, you're like, I don't mind the necks. It can be whatever.
No. I'm not super particular, but it does have to be a C profile.
Okay.
And lately I like the neck a little bit thicker, not a full baseball bat that some people like.
Yeah.
I still prefer a little more kind of middle of the road Fender neck feels right to me.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Jared, about yourself.
Yeah, I'm going to leave Tony on your island there, Tony Balonsky. I'm going to definitely get the pickups that I want, and whatever neck. If you, I'm like Tony, like I don't mind about the neck, but honestly, whatever, as long as it's not so extreme you can't put your hand around it, or it's not so extremely
but
small.
You have a baseball mitt for a hand, so like
I
it
do.
really
I've
doesn't
got a
matter.
giant hand.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, so I'll live with the neck profile. I've got several guitars, and they all have several different neck profiles.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Tony and I have a very similar taste on necks. If I do want to get picky, I really like the same thing Tony does.
Okay.
Copycat.
Just for no, that's because I respect you, Tony.
No.
Hey,
copycat.
Hey man, I'm putting some shade on your island for you, my friend. And shaded is in a good way.
All right.
Nice.
Ian, how about yourself?
I think I have to go with the neck. When you were reading the question, I was thinking, well, my neck preference, I'd probably be fine with the standard neck. But then you said it's the opposite of what I would like. And I couldn't live with
if you chose pickups, yes.
Yeah. So I couldn't live with a neck I hated. And maybe this is a loophole, but you could always change the pickups later.
Loophole.
That's easier than changing the neck.
You can't. Yeah, it's in the world of would you rather.
Even if you can't change the pickups, I still got to go with neck, because I've had guitars that I love that sound good, but the neck is just not. It just doesn't feel right, and I don't pick them up.
Yep.
It's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like I said, if the frets are too jumbo or too tall, I go. I mean, if I play it, I go sharp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do not have the feather touch.
No, neither do I.
What about you, Todd? What do you? Well,
I'm gonna paddle on over to your island there, pal. The neck is one of those things. It's. I think maybe something that Tony might have been trying to say was that I would say is that it's not the ones that I want to play. It's the one I'm very acutely aware of the ones that I don't want to play.
There you go.
Right.
And in that case, that's what I'm doing, because I play all kinds of different pickups, and I like the sounds from all those different pickups.
Right.
But you're not going to pick it up if the neck sucks. Period.
So is that three people on my island?
That's
and
three.
then
That's the
Jared
first time in a long time.
is on Jared Island.
Yeah,
I like it.
shocker. All right. Well, that was a good one. Thank you, Tig, for sending that in. We're going to say a few thanks real quick, and then we're going to say goodbye to Ian and let everybody else get on with their day. So, Tony?
That's right, Todd. At this point of the show, we like to thank a very special group of people.
We love them.
These are our executive producers.
That's right.
And how do you become an executive producer? What is an executive producer? An executive producer makes this podcast possible.
Exactly.
How do I become one? Go over to patreon.com/the Guitar Knobs. Check out the couple of different levels in which you can participate and become a patron, a sponsor of this very podcast.
That's right.
Each level comes with a great bevy of thank you gifts. Things like t-shirts and barefoot buttons and picks and stickers and all the good stuff. Mm-hmm. But as an executive producer, you get all the great stuff. And one thing more, Jared.
You get to have your name read on the thing.
Your name read on the thing. And that's what I'm going to do right now. So special thanks to these executive producers.
Do it!
Tom Barazin, Darren Gregory, Doug Christ, Michael Van Zant, Ken Sayers, Brian Robison, Michael Senchuk, Stefan Lamb, Anthony Lathrop, John Anglin, Brad Partridge, John Esterly, Justin Jones, James White, Matt Hart, Bill Gola Guitars, Richard Kendall, Tig Harmon, John Jackson, Jason Roush, Gary Cooper, Mark Garton, Elad Mizrahi, Mikey D, Trevor Gunberg, Rick Calhoun, Anthony Gemolero, and John Halverson.
Right on.
Hey, thanks,
That
John.
Wait. Because there is a very special group of executive producers. We call them our Grand Poobahs.
Oh, yeah.
These are the elite executive producers. They hang out in the penthouse suite in their individual hot tubs, drinking special Grand Poobah drinks.
Yep.
Orange Gatorade and whatever you want to mix with that.
Usually vodka. Vodka is a good mixer with orange Gatorade. So special thanks to these Grand Poobahs. Jonathan Jerusik, Corey Nigro, David Kaminga, Science of Sound, Cody Foster, Sean S.
Yes.
Tommy Manasco, Adam Johnson, Steve Keys, Tim Novak, Tyler Rhines, James Pennington, Ellis J Music Company, John Williams, Johnny Morales, Mel Sanders, Bob Crouch, Sam Jett, Michio Murakishi, and Martin Cliff.
All right. Thank you all so very much. Keeping our show going. We truly appreciate it.
We could not do this without you.
Absolutely not. So much thanks. And if you'd like to join, head on over to patreon.com/the Guitar Knobs and get on that.
Get on it.
Cool. All right.
Send your
So
stickers.
we need to say a humongous thank you to Ian Pritchard of Collector Emitter. Thank you for joining us tonight, Ian.
Oh, thank you guys for having me. This was fun.
Yes, it was.
That's what we try to make it fun.
Indeed. And where can people find you again?
You can find me on YouTube. The channel is called Collector Emitter. You can also find me on Instagram. That is under my name, Ian Pritchard. And you can also find my music on Spotify and Apple Music and whatnot. That's just under the name Collector.
Cool.
Oh, cool.
Be checking that out on the way home now. Awesome.
Cool.
Collector. And Tony?
If you're looking for a new pick guard, you want to do something different, you want to change out pickups, you want to change out necks, whatever you want to do, go over to pickguardian.com. Check out some of the wares that I have available for sale. But it's probably best to just shoot me an email. Let me know what you need, what you're doing, and I can give you some good advice. and I can take very good care of you. Pickguardian.com.
Cool. Jared?
Well, if you'd like to get a hold of me and ask me some questions about pickups, just message me through the Guitar Knobs podcast social media messaging thingermcbobbers. And
Okay.
Todd will let me, I'll have fun answering your questions.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right. You can shoot me an email, todd@theguitarknobs.com. You can also DM me, as Jared just mentioned, at guitarknobs on Instagram. We'd love to hear what you have to say. Love to hear your thoughts on the show and in the guitar community at large. And also, please send us your questions for Rob, because we're going to have Ask Rob Anything. And I mean anything.
I wonder
as
what
long
his,
as it's
I wonder what
ratings,
his favorite flavor of Cheetos is.
That could be a question.
I'm going to ask him that.
Okay.
Or what about his favorite flavor of Oreos?
Oh, there you go. All right, you just submitted that.
All right, we'll call that a submission.
I hope I hear the answer.
You will. We will do that. Okay. All right, everybody, have a fantastic Guitar Week and subscribe. Yeah. Hate to disappoint you guys, but he's not from Italy.
He's not from Italy.
It's not from Italy.
Jared, it's an Ian calling you.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm stuffed, man.
Oh, really? You can't eat 2 more cookies? Just another bite.
A wafer thin mint.
Wafer. Just a wafer. You know, impression.
Thoughts.
Impressions. I'm not recording that.
They taste like chocolate ones, though. They taste like the regular ones. I bought some chocolate ones too, so I'm gonna put on a blindfold.
This is awesome.
This is the best ever.
Hold on
He's already eaten all of the vanilla ones.
It's not like we're asking you to take a math test.
Just wait a goddamn minute.
Jiminy Christmas.
Oh.
This is the worst test ever.
Where's Uncle Robbie? Oh, gotta get some milk.
That is true. We saw Jared's doppelganger the other day. That was really weird.
Really?
Remember that, Jared?
I don't know what the doppelganger is.
It's your double.
It's your double, yeah. It's German for that's your double.
I'm not German.
Holy.
I'm a pretty good. I'll tell you if they're different. I won't let the color change my mind.
You have to close your eyes.
You have to close your eyes.
No, God damn it! How am I gonna?
Don't knock over the milk. Now I'm gonna try to squeeze this one out before. That is a lot of wood paneling.
Exactly the same.
No, they're not.
No, they're not.
That's the worst test ever. You gotta. You can't put both of them in your mouth and go, "Yep, they're the same." I'm going to see if this red wine and this white wine taste the same by putting them both in my mouth. Yep, they taste the same.
Bye, Jared.
Bye, Jared.
See you later, guys.
Bye, Jared.
Bye.
They do taste different.
No.
Well, that's it for these knobs. Please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/theguitarknobs. Visit our website at theguitarknobs.com for all of our past episodes, 4 on the Floor blog, and other good stuff. You can connect with us on social too at our Facebook page and share your gear and stories on our Facebook group. Also, be sure to check out our Instagram at Guitar Knobs. Catch you next time.